Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And in this video we're going to be talking about the EX fight in the new character event that we receive, and it is for Alisae. Now before we do start, I want to ask you guys if you want me to start covering other games other than Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. There's a ton of new games that came out last month and this month, especially in the mobile scene. I have been playing a lot of them and I'm actually having a hard time playing all of these games, and I'm just barely passing all the daily requirements for all these games. So I want to try and focus myself on a few games, and I really like all these games. It's just that I just don't have the time, and I don't end up being as competitive as I want to be. So if you guys have any suggestions of games that you want me to cover, leave it down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's start this video. So as always, we'll start off with the weaknesses and resistances and abilities of the last boss, which is the Magic Halo. Now it doesn't have any weaknesses, but hold that thought. It does have a resistance to melee and range attacks. So the Magic Halo is quite a unique monster. It has elemental resistances that changes with its black veil and white veil, and this will also change its weaknesses. I didn't put the weaknesses there because we're gonna be going through the black veil and white veil later on. So if it doesn't have any veil, the abilities that it has are Flare, which is a magic brave attack, Life Cut, which is a melee HP attack, and of course it has the black veil and white veil, which increases its brave and removes the debuffs without frames. This also grants itself a shield and elude, which again changes its own weaknesses and resistances. And furthermore, it reduces the brave damage taken from all attacks to which it is not weak against. Alright, now let's take a look at Black Veil. Now Black Veil actually has a resistance to fire, ice, thunder, and dark elements, but it is weak to earth, wind, water, and holy elements. It will have access to a variety of new abilities such as Darkra, which is a dark magic brave attack, Spear of Darkness, which is a melee brave attack, which also inflicts speed down, sap, and this also has a high turn rate. It has Agony Waltz, which is a melee brave attack plus HP attack, and also inflicts attack down and defense down. And finally, it has an all attack called Blade Juggler, which increases brave and does a group magic brave attack plus an HP attack as well, and inflicts a max brave down. As for the White Veil, it has resistance to earth, wind, water, and holy elements, and is weak to fire, ice, thunder, and dark elements. Now it will have access to Stone and Stonera. The main difference, Stone will only delay the target's turn by 1, and Stonera will delay the target's turn by 2, but they are both earth magic brave attack. You probably won't see it using Stone, so I didn't really include it in the list of abilities. Next, it has Calm Down, which is a melee brave attack, which removes the target's buffs without any frames. This also grants itself a initial brave up and a defense up as well. Next, it has Trick Holy, which increases its brave and is a magic HP attack. This recovers the HP based on the HP damage that is dealt. And finally, its all attack is called Heavenly Ray, which is a group holy magic brave attack and grants itself Brave Regen. Alright, so now that we know the weaknesses, resistances, and abilities of the Magic Halo, it's time for the general tips and guides. And the first one I have for you guys is to actually save about 80% of your abilities on the boss. Now, if you are an old viewer, this is probably pretty obvious to you, but if you are a new viewer, what are you doing? Just subscribe now. Anyway, I would like you guys to save about 80% of your abilities because the boss does have quite a lot of HP, especially if you're not using any of the level 60 characters. Anyway, the next tip for you guys is to bring in the boosted characters such as Alisae, Terra, and Papalymo. But if you don't have these three characters, the others that I suggest are Vaughn, Garnet, Rydia, Celes, Ashe, Kefka, Lael, Kuja, and the Warrior of Light. Now, you guys may have noticed that some of the suggested characters here actually have only one element in their arsenal, but the same can be said for Papalymo, which is actually one of the boosted characters. So I did add some variety here, such as Ashe and Rydia and Garnet. Garnet can actually put a debuff, so you can have the boss's resistance to whatever can be weak. He can be weak against to it. So those are just a few things that I've added. But if you just wanted a non-elemental magic damager, there's only very few of those characters, and from memory the only one that comes to mind are Terra, Kefka, Lael, and Kuja. Now, Vaughn actually has a non-elemental attack as well in his red spiral. Now, obviously this will have the ice element as its secondary damage. However, I feel like Vaughn will do well either way because he will have access to both weaknesses for the Black Veil and the White Veil as well. So you can definitely bring him and he will be quite effective on this particular boss. As for healers, they are again optional in this EX fight. Brave batteries are more of a priority rather than the healers, but if you can bring a 2-in-1 just like Yuna, then by all means bring her instead. Lilithset is still, I feel, have a place in this particular fight, although you will have to worry about the Black Veil and White Veil, sorry. So just be careful when you're actually using her debuff attack. Now, as for the summon, it's again going to be, for me, my personal favorite is still Ifrit, even though Bahamut is out, but you can definitely bring Bahamut or you can bring Brothers as well. Now, I'd just like to warn you guys that using Ifrit and Brothers, you just have to make sure that it doesn't have a veil, or it's using a veil that it's weak against your summon, so you can do extra brave damage. Anyway, that's a small thing, but it is still something. Alrighty, now it's time to take a look at the general tips for the fight itself. Here are a few ones that I would suggest. The first one is to try and use your summon prior to him buffing himself with White Veil or Black Veil. The advantage of this is basically avoiding the resistance, I suppose, to the element of your summon, especially if you're using Ifrit. But if you're using Bahamut, it's non-issue at all. Now, if your summon is actually not ready by the time you fight the boss, or before he uses his buff, then just save it and use it when you're in trouble, or if you want to be aggressive, use it as soon as possible. Now, you can also obviously take advantage of your summon. If he is in White Veil, for example, he will have weakness to Ifrit's fire element, so you can take advantage of that as well. The next tip for you is to check the veil that he uses. make sure you pay attention because you can take advantage of the multiple weaknesses of both veils. The next one is to be careful of the all attacks, as they do a lot of damage, not only brave wise but HP wise as well. Try not to get broken with all three of your party members, because this can result to someone dying, especially if the turn order is not in your favor. The strategy that I would suggest is to actually just make sure to take a look at your turn order, pick one of your best DPS, and make sure that DPS doesn't get broken so you can break it back and you won't get HP attack as well. Anyway, that's it for the general tips and guides, and now it's time to take a look at some possible party composition that you can use. Now the first one is obviously just put together the boosted characters. I sort of lost my train of thought there. Alisae, Terra, and Papalymo, with a Terra or Alisae support and using Ifrit or Bahamut summon. Now this is pretty self-explanatory. Alisae, Terra, and Papalymo are the boosted characters, so they do have 50% more stats, so the chances of you beating this is fairly high. But remember, you do have to at least have some good equipment before you go in there. Don't go charging in there with a level 1 Alisae like I did. I had my Alisae with some good characters as well. The next party composition I have is the one that I used to get the score that I needed to get all the rewards for the event, which are Vaughn, Yuna, and Terra with a Terra support. Now it's an extra if your Terra support actually has the EX. This actually is great, so you can do a lot more damage. I did use Ifrit as my summon, as I haven't maxed out Bahamut just yet. The next one is Terra, Vaughn, and Lael with another Terra support. This is basically the same thing without the healing, so this is more DPS orientated. You're gonna do a lot of chasing with Lael, which is great. As for your summon, it's basically Ifrit, Bahamut, or Pandemonium as well. You just have to be careful again with the summons. You don't want to use Pandemonium in the middle of the White Veil because it is a wind element. But this is a high DPS, and you will definitely get that 100k score, I believe, that you need. And finally, for those who want to be really safe, I have Celeste or Warrior of Light here. Now Celeste actually is quite a good character to bring in this particular fight because of her tankiness when it comes to magic attacks. She has that magic absorb, and she does have a non-element attack with the Shine Edge, and her brave attack can turn into a ice type as well when it becomes a brave attack plus. And Warrior of Light is always solid as one of the best tanks out there. And I just put Terra there because she's probably the best DPS that you can have at this point in this particular fight. And I put Yuna because basically she's both a brave battery and a healer now as well, once you unlock her level 60 passive. And so that's it for the party compositions. What are my final thoughts for this fight? Well, honestly guys, I probably get a lot of feedback for this, but I found this fight to be the easiest EX that we ever had, mainly because I already had Terra fully maxed out. I actually didn't get her EX weapon when I tried for the 100k plus score. I've only got the EX after the fact that I wanted to just try and pull for it, and I managed to get it. And then I did the fight again with the level 1 Alisae with I think level 45 crystal passives. So Yeah, it's pretty easy if you have Terra. Having her EX makes it a lot easier. You just have to have a Terra support, which I think I will change my support to a Terra support now for those people who have added me in game. And yeah, I just don't find anything that I can say anymore, because the only problem that you will definitely have here is if you actually haven't leveled any good magic casters. So there are other ones that you can use, like Vivi is another one of those characters that I feel like can be used here as well. I didn't mention him earlier because Papalymo is already in that space, but Vivi can definitely be used here as well. So I think I will end this video right here. Remember to click like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful at all. As always, I want to hear from you guys. What is your team for this fight? The more obscure, the better. Leave it down in the comments below, because I just find like the weirdest party compositions. I find it very interesting, and sometimes I do want to try it out if I actually have those characters leveled up, and of course at least maxed out one of their weapons or whatever, and makes me want to give it a go. So yeah. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Munchkins Gaming. You can also add me as a friend on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.